Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Today I would like to talk to you about 3 different companies, 2 of which the prices are down right now and what I see for those prices coming up in the near and long terms, and then also one that's way up today and what I think is going on with that stock. I do want to apologize for my absence. I've been gone for, I think it's been about 5 days since my last video. I currently have a few family obligations and also dissertation deadlines kicking my butt, so some of those things have taken away the time that it would take to produce on YouTube, but I'm going to keep on trying and double down my efforts to get a video out to you guys every day. I've been spending time with my patrons and people in the Discord, keeping up with my obligation to them there to continue serving them, and as a thank you for their support that they've put out through coming over to the Patreon and the Discord, and also putting these videos out to support those of you who watch me in YouTube land. I really appreciate it, so thank you. I got to keep this video short. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. Let's get ready to rock. Welcome back. Before I get started, I gotta send a thank you out to Stockmo. It's humbling to know that he's watching my channel and that he likes the stuff that I have to say. I know that I absolutely love the fundamentals that he tosses out for the companies. The man just has a nose when it comes to business, stocks, finance. So I really enjoy his channel, and know that he's also a fan of mine. It's something that I take great pride in. So thank you, Stockmo. I really appreciate it. Say hi to Tesla Cat for me. Let me move on from there. Down in the description is a link for Patreon if you want to come over and see the stocks that I'm invested in my growth portfolio, in my dividend portfolio. Also the weekly watch list that I put out, that's a combination of stocks that I'm looking at for the week and also the stocks that my patrons have submitted that they would also like for the week. I gather that all in one spot, and we can go ahead and take a look, pick out the favorite companies. Some people might choose to invest in those. There's definitely a lot of them that are surprising me this week with just how much they've gone up, and there's a few of them, especially with today's market, that have kind of gone down a little bit. So if you're interested in any of that, the link for Patreon is down in the description. Also down there you'll find a link for Webull. By signing up and depositing $100, you get 2 free stocks. I get 2 free stocks through a referral to help support this channel, so thank you in advance for that. One final thing, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, share with your friends. Let's get on to the stocks. The first stock that I'd like to talk to you about is Golden Nugget Online Gaming, ticker symbol GNOG, and recently they've been on a downtrend since the end of December, where they peaked at $27.18. The one analyst rating that's out there says that they have a $27 price target. Even if they don't quite make it there within the next 12 months, there's a lot of things that are weighing down on this stock. One of the biggest things, in my opinion, is the warrants that have to be redeemed by March 8th. As of March 8th, which is Monday of next week, those warrants expire worthless. So the thing that causes the stock price to come down is that it dilutes the shares for the shareholders. So waiting to see how much of that dilution happens, how much expires worthless, then after that, that downward pressure is somewhat removed from the stock, and so we should see a little bit more life come back to it by then. They are expanding. They're currently in New Jersey. They're in Michigan. They have clearance for Pennsylvania. They just need to report to us how things are going in Pennsylvania. I believe West Virginia is also on that. There was just some news recently about New York also signing a deal there. I think it's a 10-year deal that they have with one of the casinos in New York State. You can check out the news on that one. So they really are on the move, and they expect to capture 10% of a $3.5 billion market opportunity by the year 2025. So there's a lot of good news that we have for a Golden Nugget. So if it's one that you're interested in, if it's one that you think, hey, there's real opportunity here, the price is pretty far down from where it can go. So it's not as low as it was, though. If you take a look at the daily chart that we have here, it bottomed out somewhere around, if you look at that low candle right there, around 13 bucks a share. And if I didn't already have a position, I certainly would have been dollar cost averaging down into that. But I do like the position that I currently have. But if people are looking for an opportunity, that was definitely the time during those down times. Right now, it's not necessarily something that's a missed opportunity, especially you have time between now and March the 8th to read up about Golden Nugget to find out what you think about them as a company. If you like them, invest. If you don't like them, well, then move on to the next company. There's lots of opportunities to be found, and more often than not, when I read about companies, I decide that I don't like them and I don't invest, or that's just not a place where I would like to put my money. This one, I have a small position in my growth portfolio, and I believe that I'm negative just a little bit on this stock, but I believe that after March the 8th that we're going to see a lot more traction coming into it. Let's look at the 30-minute chart. You can see it's been a pretty straight across day. We had a little bit of a spike up to the high 16s, and then it came right back down and traded sideways most of the day. I'm totally fine if this trades sideways for the rest of the week. On March the 8th, when those warrants expire, we'll see what happens next week, especially if we have a good market bias going along with it. If the stock markets are green, then we should have green coming out of this. If we get good stimulus news, of course, that's going to help. That's going to help the entire market. So those are things to watch. Today did end in red for the markets. And the fact that Golden Nugget has held its own during that time could be evidence of strength in the stock, and that other people are seeing what I see for it. So the $27 price target, I think it's a good possibility. It all depends on what sort of news we see coming out of Golden Nugget Online Gaming. The next company is NNDM, and I really do like NNDM as a company. I really enjoy their innovation that they have going on. They peaked at a price of $17.89. They almost made it back on February the 10th, and then it's just been a trailing off ever since that time, eroding with the markets, going down with a lot of the speculative plays, saying that there's a lot of that it's another overvalued speculative play, and perhaps that was the case, but I like the curve that it's setting now, and I think that we're going to see that drop taper off, especially as we go forward. There we go, just turn off the MACD and the RSI. I was looking at it with some other stocks. So for this one, we can see that bottom being established right around that $9.54. So we'll see if it continues to hold that bottom or if it's going to break it. As far as near-term catalysts, again, there's that overall market catalyst of the stimulus coming through. If that $1.9 trillion makes it through the House, then we're in really good shape for seeing some green come back into this. Furthermore, any acquisition news that we get, and GNOG has just come out in a recent interview to say that they have boiled it down to several acquisition targets within the United States and within Europe, and I believe also some within Israel. And I think the number that he said was about 3 to 4 in each area that he was looking at for potential acquisitions targets, that he does not care to overspend for the acquisition targets, so avoiding SPAC type companies that would overvalue a company is something that he's not willing to do. So that's something to pay attention to when it comes to trying to guess at what acquisition targets they would have. They're looking for ones that would really help them vertically integrate within their industry, so that way they could be better suppliers and control more within that market for themselves. From the interview, it sounded like mid-year 2021 is going to be a good time where they're going to be marketing their new Dragonfly system, and also the new materials that come with it. They don't want to issue it right now. They said it's currently in the alpha, but as they continue their testing and as they're ready for release, they would like to do it when there's customers, and they say post-pandemic is when they'd be more likely to have those customers in order to buy, so they would like to actually market it when there's not only hype, but also there's availability to encourage more buyers. They have a couple good revenue streams going right now with the different services that they have offered and also the materials, and also building parts for people who haven't quite purchased the Dragonfly system yet, so their companies... So those companies are learning about building these high-performance electronic devices themselves. So GNOG also believes that that's also going to encourage future sales of the Dragonfly systems in the future. GNOG also said that he expects that the next phase, the still prototyping but early production phase model of the Dragonfly system, he expects around end of year 2022. So that's still close to 2 years off from this point in time. So I think we're going to see a bit of a quiet period coming from NNDM unless we hear about those acquisitions. But that leaves time for people to put their research in, also gives time to see if it's going to drop at all. I'd love to see it trade sideways for a while just to kind of really give it a current price of where it's at. So if it's really going to hold this bottom of about $9.50-ish per share, I'm okay with that. If it bounces right around there, I'm still okay with that. I'm going to hold on to the position that I have right now. I dollar cost averaged up into this a little bit because I was about $7 a share with my position prior to the next amount that I bought in. When I added to my position, I think it took me up right around the $10 per share mark. So I'm a little bit negative on this one, but it was a long-term investment anyway. I think over the years we'll see a lot of growth coming out of NNDM, and I think eventually we will make it back up to those prices that we saw within the last few months. The last company, I just got to mention it, Rocket Mortgages. I've been talking about this company here and there on this channel, and today there were several catalysts going on here. One of the things is that they had really good earnings, so that kind of helps the position that they're in. Jim Cramer came out and he said that he likes Rocket Mortgage Company as well, so we also had that catalyst tossed in. Plus, it was also expected to be a high short interest play where a short squeeze could be taking place, and some of the Reddit behavior that we saw with GameStop was also attributed to some of the movement that we saw. For me, it doubled my position. I went up over 100% on this. When it went up, I sold half at the top just to lock in any profits that I would have, because I think that this will settle a little bit. I really like Rocket Mortgages as a long-term play for this, especially because the real estate market is supposed to be really healthy through 2021. So at least for that long would I hold on to this company and see how far their stock price will go. And at this point in time, the remaining shares that I have are all profit anyhow, as I mitigated 100% of my risk by selling half. We'll take a quick look intraday just to see how it went. You can see it was just a great day, even from market open for Rocket Mortgages. And then sometime around 12:30 or 1 o'clock, the stock price just took off. And after closing around between $41 and $42 a share, you can see in the aftermarket hours that with low volume, this thing ran up quickly to $45.39, and then just ripped back down to just sub 40. So me selling a few shares today at over $41 a share, I'm not sad about it. This thing could go to, I don't think it's going to go to 60 tomorrow, but let's pretend that it did. I wouldn't be sad about the move that I made, because I took that guarantee versus letting it possibly collapse back down and missing the opportunity. So I seized the opportunity while I had it. The shares that I hold on to, those are profit shares for me. If this should, for some reason, have some major update again tomorrow, I'd probably sell the rest of the shares that I had, as this does exceed the 12-month price target for Rocket Mortgages. Great company. I don't know that it's about $40 great at this point in time. So keep an eye on that, see how it goes. I like the price targets that it has. Here, we'll take a look at the endless estimates. The low being 18, I think it's worth more than that. $25 to $35, I think that's a good range for Rocket Mortgages. And being that just a little bit ago, it was down below $20 a share. I mean, we would like to see slow, steady growth, and we had a pretty rough patch in the market here, whereas around $21 a share or so sold off with the rest of the market. And then, well, today we had a whole bunch of different reasons why Rocket Mortgages went up. So keep an eye on that, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. If we have a bit of a sell-off tomorrow, well, this thing 2x today. So just be aware that a lot of times we see companies pull back after this. If for some reason there would be continued high short interest, maybe a little bit more of a squeeze, I don't know. But for me, I like the play that I made. I like that $25 to $35 price range over the next 12 months. So take a look into the company, see what you think. Maybe you'll like it too. And certainly, buying at the top of this thing isn't something that I'd be interested in doing. I'd like to sell on these spikes, and should it dip back down into more reasonable levels, I might restore some of the shares by add to my position again, using putting back on some of that risk that I've already mitigated. So let me summarize. Golden Nugget Online Gaming, GNOG, I think that they're going to have a decent time in the market following March 8th. We'll see what the days bring leading up to that point in time. Once that share dilution business is over, that we have that negative catalyst. Also, as the markets elevate, which however long that takes, as the markets rise, GNOG should also be able to rise with it. NNDM, also a very positive company. I think people's expectations for the time frame for NNDM to grow as a company, I think that they've been tempered recently. I'd love if we stayed around that $9.50 to $10 per share mark. And I hope that we do. I can certainly see us 2xing from there within the next 12 months to 18 months. It would be absolutely excellent to get back up to around that $18 to $20 mark that we would have, depending on the numbers that they put out. Really, Yoav himself is telling us, hey, wait out the pandemic, because that's what we're doing. So as you invest, expect the company's share price to also kind of go along with that idea to wait out the pandemic, and then we'll see what the company can do. And I really hope that Yoav has a lot to say, the CEO, has a lot to say about their company and those stocks going forward. Finally, Rocket Mortgages, absolutely love them. lots of growth potential, not necessarily from their current stock price. I think that's going to come back down. I do like the $25 to $35 per share range. So take a look into it, see if you like it too. And if you do find your research, your due diligence, and you decide to become an investor in any one of these companies at any point, excellent for you, and I wish you all the gains in the world. You always got to follow your own truth in these things, and that whatever that research and due diligence says, those are the things that you should count on. 3 companies that I like, 3 companies that I'm invested in, and Rocket Mortgages, it was fun today. It actually was a rocket in and of itself. So if you liked the video, excellent. If you'd like to join my Patreon, that link is down in the description. Also, if you would like to sign up for Webull and deposit your $100 and get your 2 free stocks, that link's down there as well. If you haven't subscribed already and would like to, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, share it with your friends. Remember, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research and due diligence. Contact a financial advisor before making any financial decisions. I'm Dr. Stock. Thanks for rocking with me. Now go get that money.